What's up, guys? Jason Payne, your host of the Sexy Business Status Podcast. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Braven Grant, owner of Gains. Man, dude, first of all, welcome on the show. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
And okay, so we're gonna unravel some shit, and I got some deep questions for you, so I'm super excited. So Braven comes from a little small town where my dad is also from, right next to it. So my dad's from Thatcher, my mom's from Safford. Are you from Pima?
From Pima, yeah.
Which is like a speed bump right before Thatcher.
Yeah, you drive through it and totally miss it.
Yeah. Is it Pima and then Central?
Yeah, Pima, Central's in between Pima and Thatcher. Thatcher's
so two speed bumps and then like a little hill and another little hill and then nothing. And
I think all three of those towns have like less than 20,000 people.
Are you
and
serious?
Ours is the smallest with like 2,500.
That's
so my high school was like the whole high school is 200 kids.
Yeah, and like half of them are your family. That's funny. It's like going to church. It's like, okay, like young men, young women, primary. It's like, yeah, that's like half my family is half of the youth. That's funny. Okay, so on this podcast, what we're going to talk about, just so you guys know, I always tell you what we're going to talk about it, and then tell you what we talked about. So on this podcast, Braven's young. How old are you?
I just turned 27 like 3 days ago.
27. So I got a decade on this cat. Yeah, so he's not even 30 years old. Making killer money, making big moves, and as a 27-year-old, like that in my opinion, and even though for a few years already in my opinion. But we're going to talk about how like age is just a number, and we're going to talk a little bit about GrowthCon because we were both there together. Talk a little bit about Garrett White, who is his mentor and somebody that I'm collaborating with right now, and getting around bigger rooms, bigger numbers, bigger people. And how to do that in a humble way, but also why it's like so freaking necessary. If you want to if you have big goals, you got to get around big people, plain and simple. So we're going to dive into that. We're also going to talk about your product. Yeah. Super cool about that. Cause when I went to Gilbert High, graduated in 2005, that was 20 years ago. So technology was not around like it is now, especially creatine. So you see these guys that are jacked and you're like, oh, I'm on creatine. It's like, oh yeah, like I take a scoop or a needle and I'm jacked. And I'm like, that's literally like until you came to my office, a month ago? Yeah. Literally had no idea. And I think most of the world still believes something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. And yeah, we're going to do it in 45 minutes or less and wrap it out. So, okay. So let's start with the first thing. So 27 years old. Talk about real quick your transition from going of a town of 2,500 people and trying to build and grow and scale a business to where you hit that aha moment. You're like, bro, and it doesn't matter the number of like people in the town or whatever, but just the environment. You need to know when to leave and relocate or leave and go somewhere else regarding business. It could also be family related, but
like there's value in being different places for different reasons. Like me and my family love the North Shore because it is this like super chill, super relaxed. Like if we need more fulfillment in our life, or like more, maybe not even fulfillment, like more joy and calm and whatever, we're like, we'll go there and be in that environment. But when I'm there, I don't want to work. So I'm like, we got to get out of there and get back into the work.
Married?
Yeah.
Two kids?
2 boys. Yeah.
2 boys.
Yep.
Yeah. So when he says checked out, like he wants to be present with his spouse who's awesome and gorgeous and his two little kiddos. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I think the time I had the first time I ever invested to go to Mastermind was in early 2020. And 2020,
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Okay.
Like I had been like reading books forever. My dad used to pay us $10 to read a book, like, and doing courses and stuff. But the first time I like paid to go be in a room with other people, we were the smallest revenue. We were the youngest guy. I was the youngest guy, or my business partner, I guess, was younger than me by a couple months. So he was the youngest guy, but we were the youngest guys. And we're going to be in this thing. And I remember talking to the sales guy. Well, he was kind of like one of the mentors, but also doing the sales. And we're on the sales call. And I'm like, man, but are we going to just like be totally lost when we show up? And he said something, I don't know if he was just trying to sell me, but it's turned out to be good advice, even if it was just sales. He said, every year of your life, you should try and figure out how you can be in a room where you're the youngest and dumbest guy in the room.
Youngest and dumbest.
Yeah. And I was like, I like that. Like
sheer curiosity, what did you pay for that?
That was, we paid, for both of us to go, I think we paid $12,000 for the little mastermind weekend. And that was like everything we had at the time. Like no joke. It was such a stretch. Like we put it on a credit card that was like, we're going to have to like pay off over time. Like it was it was a massive investment. And I mean, that's why I was asking the dumb questions of like, is it going to fit for us? Is it going to work for us? But I mean, that mastermind took my company directly, things I learned there, like direct from like, we were doing like 150K a month to like 350K within a matter of a couple months, just by some of the strategies that we weren't privy to. We just had no idea that we even existed.
Gotcha.
Like we had no text or SMS set up, and like just some little things that massively grew our business. So, I mean, it paid itself tenfold.
When you and your business partner are sitting there and the two of you are like, okay, so we have 12 grand, we have $12,100 in our bank account. Who or what made that decision and why?
I think like I've always had this feeling of, if I can get to 30 years old and even if I have $0 but millions of dollars of education, it will have been worth it. So like I kind of had that mindset from the beginning of just, I'm here for transformation more than just transactions. And so I've been willing to risk a lot on education. Like I've invested, like the number is absolutely astronomical how much I've invested in self-development, business development, education.
Yeah.
Well beyond Harvard degrees, like multiple Harvard, like Harvard PhDs.
Yeah.
Probably.
So like, dare I say 7 figures worth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I just crossed over 7 figures this year like tracked.
So I want you guys to pay attention to that, because those most that are listening, they're white, male, just because the podcast gives you all demographics, right? 30 to 45 years old, right? Basically us. Funny how that works. But the small business owners doing like $500,000 to maybe 1 or 2 or 3 million, mostly blue collar.
Yep.
Right. So someone that is 27 years old already, not Grant 65, not, I don't know how old Garrett is, but
50.
40s, 50s, that kind of deal. That's powerful.
Yeah.
And that's a unicorn, because most people see it as like a liability and not an asset. Mm-hmm. But you saw yourself, every time I get in a room, every time I cut a check, I get bigger checks.
Yeah. 100%. And so like, yeah, I've always done that from a mentorship perspective. Like, how can I go be around people that are older than me, doing more than me, growing more than me, like fitness, health, family, finance, all of those things. And so when you ask about like leaving our town, there was a day where I realized like, not that I was the biggest, best guy there, but I kind of realized like, our business is kind of the biggest, like privately owned business here, like other than like Walmart and Home Depot, like, or one of them at least. And everyone around here, like no one's really pushing me to grow. Like, in fact, like I feel oftentimes pushed to slow down. Yep. And I realized like, I've been paying to go be in these rooms with bigger people and be the youngest, dumbest kid in the room. I should go live in the place where I'm the youngest, dumbest kid around. And so there's this neighborhood down here in Queen Creek. It's called the Pecans. We were like, we want to move there. We couldn't afford to move there at the moment, but we're like, we need to go get basically.
The average house is like 2.5.
Yeah. Like it's like everyone in there is like killing it, like really actually doing stuff. And so we were like,
big money.
We loved it, and we we're like, we want to go be around those people. And first it was like, let's just get to Queen Creek or Mesa, and then we moved down here. And then like within the first year that we lived here, we were able to have a really cool opportunity brought to us and move into that neighborhood. And it was like, we became the youngest, dumbest people in the neighborhood. Like,
sure.
And maybe not dumbest, because I think, we're pretty smart, but it feels that way perspective wise. Like when we show up to like the community events, or like my wife was at Bunko and she's like, I was the youngest person by like minimum 15 years,
sure.
Like she's 26, like the next person's like 35 40. To 40 at least. Yeah. And it kind of is confronting in a way, like we're not hanging out with a bunch of people our age, but it's confronting that drives us forward. And it's like, hey, well, like, all right, like, let's grow, like, let's build. And there's people in there making way more than us and doing way more than us and building families and trying to like really instill values in their kids. And they send their kids to private school instead of public school. And that was an idea that I was taught to hate growing up. And now we're like, hey, maybe we should be considering sending our kids to private school or homeschool, because the education system sucks. Like, and it doesn't teach anyone anything. So it's like just reframing so much for us. And, just the way we want to live our lives, and even like having nannies and like these types of things that where we were from, that was viewed as like taboo. Whereas now it's like, hey, well, there's an opportunity here to pour more into your kids when you have help. And just all these like frames that we could have never got from the place that we were at, not because anything's wrong with those people, but just because they never been in those frames. And so it's just expansion. And then we drove to Paradise Valley the other day, and I'm like, man, maybe we should move over here. You know,
Yeah, it's like, hey,
there's another level.
Like
And
the
then
pecans in Central Phoenix. Here we go.
exactly.
Yeah. So it's wild you say that, because my word of 2025, I was trying to focus on like a word. Like last year was intentionality. This year is programming.
Programming.
And I'm like, dude, when you sit down, like, dare I say humbly that because I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on therapy, I go every week for an hour.
Yeah.
I've been going for over 2 years now. I just hit 2 years in
awesome.
February. And I love it. But the reason why, in my opinion, the people in those towns, pick any state, pick any country for that matter.
Yeah.
Right? Here's an example. But like, they're programmed to stay small. This is the kind of house that you should live in. You
should.
You don't deserve
all over themselves.
And I think Garrett and Nick Trevelyan, my business partner, talks about this a lot. Giving yourself permission to get that nice car, to live in that house, to live in that zip code, to own that business, to have multiple commas in your bank account. And like, you have to give yourself permission, because if you don't, your natural body will go back to how you were raised. And if I do that, then I'll be just like my parents. And 90% of the time we want to be like our parents. And the other 10% we want to do the exact opposite of what they taught us. Yeah. Right? Whether it's finances, whether it's marriage, like relationships or whatever. And so
that's... just to say something to that, the parents thing really quick.
Sure.
I actually think it is a sin against our parents to not outgrow them. Like, when we talk about like the commandment of honor your father and mother, like, I think a lot of people think that means, well, then I should live just like them. Yes. But when I look at like my ancestry, like my great ancestor was like, he was a leader in the LDS church, and he was a prophet, and he led this like spiritual movement and war. I look at my grandpa, who was a World War II veteran and prisoner of war, escaped prisoner of war, survived and got himself out of prison camp and like came home and built a family. And then my dad, who like, he carried that on and built a business and became an entrepreneur, and kind of like instilled that first seed of like, that we can be an entrepreneurial family as like a grant, like you can be an entrepreneur, and then like instilled that to me. And I actually think what's honoring my parents is going beyond what they built. Like that if I just do the same as them, then it's like I got given talents and then I buried them and didn't do anything with them. And like, instead, like what Christ taught us to do is like, we're given 5 talents and you need to go turn it into 10.
Dude, that is my favorite parable.
Yeah.
By far. 1, 3, 5, right? Like, 1 buries it, like, dude, what'd you do, bro? And like 5 doubles it, 3 doubles it. But like, that by far my most favorite parable, because I'm like I said, you're given these gifts, because I forgot, I was at a conference or whatever, and somebody said, hey, like, and they had all these people, they had black, white, they had different religions, different races, all lined up and spread out. And everybody's, before they started it was on a football field, started on the goal line. And said, okay, if you're born like into money, this. If you are, honestly, stereotypes. But he was trying to prove a point. He's like, stereotypes. If you're white, take 3 steps forward. If you grew up in a home that made more than $100,000, take 2 steps forward. And you had some dudes that like, he named like 6 or 7 things that should give you a lift or a bump or a push. And so some of these guys were on the 15, 20, 25 yard line. Yeah. And some dudes haven't even moved. The guys that grew up single family, mom working 2 jobs, like dad's out of the picture, rice and beans, getting a job at 12, that kind of stuff. And like I said, certain zip codes. Yeah. And he had everybody out there, and he took a picture of it from like a drone on the football field, and he brought everybody back and he showed it to him. He said, you are not responsible, and you do not get credit for where you are in this picture. Where you started. Yes, some get a head start. Yeah. But that's nobody's fault, good or bad. I think of, we went to GrowthCon, right? Yeah. Like Trump was there. Yeah. Not Trump, sorry, his son. Yeah. Eric. I think Chris is his son. Anyways, Eric was there. I was thinking of Donald Jr. Yeah. Eric's there. And I'm like, that dude started on a freaking different football field than all of us, right? Yeah. Because of his family and all that stuff. But like, you are not responsible for how you were raised and where you were raised. Yeah. And all those things. But you're also like, there has to be a line that you cross where you're like, okay, I need to like own my shit and own my stuff of like, okay, am I going to continue doing this forever? Where you're from, the people have been there for generations.
Yeah.
Like literally horse and buggy generations
Yeah.
there, right? And and guess what? And our kids are going to go there, and they're going to do the cotton fields, and they're going to be a farmer, or they're going to be
a mine.
they're going to work in the mine. I have a cousin, the Rios family, that I love, like dad, grandpa, like a mine. One of his boys graduated from Thatcher. He's already doing the, apprenticeship, whatever it is, to work in the mine. And it's like that programming of like. But I love what you said, that like we should never just match the success of our parents. Some of us, the bar's really low.
Yeah.
I know the bar's high, but we should always strive to surpass that because they've already shown us how to do that.
Yeah.
So one, we should do it, and then we should push ourselves to do a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah, like it's like we're not responsible for where we started, but we're responsible for the start we give our kids.
Yes.
Right? And it's like my dad gave me tons of values and principles and help like in entrepreneurship and in business. And like, we have a whole crazy story of like difficulty and losing everything and that whole story. But like at the same time, I was given a lot of the tools to be successful. And it's like, I look at how grateful I am for that and what my dad did and like the work that he did for 30 years to give me the knowledge I have in health and in this industry and all those pieces. And then I'm like, okay, well, my son, like, what am I going to give to him so that he can start from, 100 million or a couple hundred million and then go build $1 billion empire like for the Grant family. And so that's like how I view it. And I think a lot of times we think we're honoring our parents by like just listening to what they said and like just staying like in the same realm as them, when it's like, no, like we should be pushing them. And I actually think I'm at a spot right now where like I'm pushing my dad, like our business is like pacing and like kind of outbeating his. And then he's like, so we're sharing numbers, and it's like, it's really like, I see it in invigorating him to grow. Right. And it's like, that to me is honoring my parents. Like that to me is honoring my father and mother. So
Love it.
I'm 100% believe you have to go beyond it.
Yeah. And a lot of us, I mean, like I said, great example. I had great parents, the example growing up, entrepreneur, all that kind of stuff. But since I was little, or even just past after my mission, I was like, I want more.
Yeah.
I see what my dad built. We did the Disneylands, we did the Rocky Points, we got to go on the trips and do all that stuff. We're never like, what's our next meal? I was never. I was blessed to never have to play that card. Of course. Right. But I also am like, okay, cool. So if this is the lifestyle that we were raised in, but I want these few more things, or not things as in stuff, just like qualities.
Yeah.
One, like you said, I want to be able to pass down to my kids knowledge, not money, because money comes and goes. Like they can blow it, and then if they don't have the value to gain it again, they're toast. Yeah, they just are. So the book End with Zero. Read that book? So good, right? He's like, dude, he's like, no way.
Everyone goes to zero.
Yes,
everyone exits.
Everybody has to, and but it's something that's really hit me of like, okay, cool. So you were here, but you don't have to stay. Don't have to stay here just because your parents say stay here or don't do this or don't do that. Maybe you change religion. Maybe you change whatever, right? Whatever the case may be, like understand that your parents did the best they could or did what they did, but then you have to own your, like, and I don't know what age that is, guys. I don't. I know it's not 40. Make that very freaking clear, right? But being able to like take that dive as a 27-year-old, and even like I said, that was what, 4 or 5 years ago. So 22, 21, 23. Yeah. Like to be able to make those moves and have that grit to be like, hey, I'm going to build something for myself. Yeah. Because there's nothing that I hate more than people that piggyback. Yeah. Off their parents or off their or whoever. Off their, or whatever. And so going that. So I want to switch gears here. So let's talk about gains. Yeah. Because we're going to talk about personal development, but I want to swing this first because one, I'm thirsty and I want to drink this. But so talk about gains without going like, super deep. 505 on us. Give us the, what is gains? What's the purpose of it? Why do you take it? Why are you so passionate about it? And who should take it? Why they should take it? And what's in it for them? Yeah, I mean, what gains is our brand. I mean, the name currently is Gains in Bulk too. If you're searching for it, it's like Gains in Bulk, but we're transitioning. We got the trademarks for Gains, but Gains, like, and the reason we're building the whole brand around that word is like progress to me. It's all about progress. It's the same conversation we've been having. To me, progress is our duty in this life. It's the thing that produces joy. It's the thing that helps other people in this world. Like,
progress is the essential ingredient for a fulfilled, happy, and frankly, like righteous life. Because I believe anything that's not progress is damnation, which is like the goal of the adversary, whatever adversary you believe in, whether it's just the universal adversary or Satan himself. Like that, the goal of the adversary in this world is to damn people. And so progress is the essential ingredient, and that's what Gains is about. It's just how do we help people progress? Yeah, in the gym, but in their life, in their finances, in their health, in their wealth. Like, how do we help someone progress? And that's what it's all about. And so our main product, like I brought some here. We always got to be marketing, but
dude, always, he brought it in here, and I was like, my man, I would be mad if you didn't bring something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So I brought the flavored. If you want to throw a scoop in there of the flavored or the unflavored,
I'm a strawberry guy.
What we did that was a little bit different. Like when you look at performance nutrients, they're called ergogenic supplements. They're supplements that improve your performance. There's the most researched, the most proven ergogenic ingredient in the world is creatine monohydrate. And so I absolutely love creatine. Like I said, I love progress. I want to help people progress. The number one way to do that, supplementation wise, is creatine. And a lot of people think creatine is about building muscle or getting super strong and jacked. And like you said, like it's like steroids.
Yeah. Like the stereotype is like Mr. Olympia or like doing, it's like only get to 3% body fat or any of that stuff. And that's not true.
No, it's not.
It definitely obviously helps for those guys.
It helps with those things. So what creatine does, like super simple to keep it like super simple, is creatine helps increase your energy. Your energy output, it increases your ATP. So it helps in the gym. We kind of have this funny thing we say is like bodybuilders have been the only ones smart enough to, or meatheads have been the only ones smart enough to take creatine every day. Sure. And it's just this funny way of saying like everyone should be taking creatine because it would benefit everyone. But really like people have just missed the mark because it's just increasing your ATP. So if you're working out, yes, it's going to help increase your ATP, your energy while you're working out. So you're going to lift harder, you're going to lift more, you're going to be able to lift more weights, and you're going to be able to recover faster because you have more energy. And at the end of the day, like that's going to help you get stronger.
It's like healthy NOS.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I say, because so when you're going hard and you're going at it and you're running out of fumes, when you have creatine in your system, in your body, it has something to pull from to give you that extra energy when you're running low.
Exactly.
It can pull from and say, hey, here we go. It's like we grew up in dirt bikes, right?
Yeah.
Dirt bikes and all that stuff. And there's the reserve. It's like you run out of gas.
Exactly.
Turn to the reserve.
That's a great example.
Like it literally has a little small extra, dare I say ounces, right?
Yeah.
Tank of like, hey, this will get you home or to the next gas station. It's like an E light when your E light comes on, right? It doesn't mean you're at it.
I say it's like
you're gonna die.
I say it's like a portable charger for your phone.
Love it.
It gives you like this extra boost, like when creatine especially works when you're fatigued, when you're tired, when you're low sleep, any type of situation like that. And so it's just going to help you produce more energy. Our brains use a massive amount of energy for our body. A brain's only 2% of our body tissue, but it's 20% of our energy consumption. So our brain is a huge place that we're utilizing creatine. And then when we're stressed, we're tired, we haven't slept well, or maybe if you're hungover, like creatine just is going to help you produce more energy. And so, what I always tell people is like, there's nothing but that's been more proven to improve your mental and physical performance. And if you don't believe me or you haven't experienced it, just take it every day for 30 days. Because most people, they view it like it's a workout supplement. So if they have tried it, they took it when they were working out, which is usually like 2 to maybe 4 times a week. And then you don't really get the benefit because the way creatine works is it's like a vitamin. We call it a daily vitamin for performance. It's something where you have to build up your body's stores of the nutrient to be able to get the full benefit of it. So anyway, our product's a little bit different because creatine typically is super like chalky, gritty, doesn't dissolve very well, and people, it kind of gets stuck in their stomach. The flavored one goes like, it takes a little longer to mix. This one you can see it's literally completely clear. It's 100% soluble, gets in immediately. You don't deal with any of the chalky grittiness. It doesn't cause any stomach issues.
I throw it in with my pre-workout.
Yeah.
So let me get an example. So of a busy schedule. I don't even dare look at your calendar because I know yours is just like mine. So literally yesterday, we went to the Suns game, Preston Lord event, sponsored that stuff. I was there from like 11 a.m. to, we didn't leave till like 10 o'clock after the game, doing all kinds of stuff. And so I get home, literally this last night, get home, finally crash at 11:30. Thanks to people like Braven and my buddy Blake Clark and Garrett White for being consistent. Like, hey, wake up every morning early. Mm-hmm. I'm up at 4:30. I'm at the gym at 5. Done at 5 till. I go home. I throw on my 50-pound, 40-pound vest, and I go on a 45-minute walk. Yeah. Then I come home. Then I have an hour to get my kids ready and go out the door. Then I went and shot a video at my house with Dakota. Now I'm here. I have 3 more podcasts after this just today. Then I have a roofing inspection at the end of that. Then I have coach my kids flag football team, my Cash, my 10-year-old, do that. And then my nieces have a play in North Mesa that we're going to go to after that. Then blink.
Yeah, well, and that's what it takes.
But that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do. I'm not an athlete. I'm not training for anything magical. But like just and that's a normal day, to be honest. But like, this could be for a stay-at-home mom.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like people that just need that extra kick, because if not, then they're just pounding 3 or 4 energy drinks or, Polar Pops all day or going to swig and all that bull crap. Like this is very healthy. And I have felt it, but like you said, like Jason, because I wasn't doing it consistently. I'm like, hey, I was like, before I talked to you the first time, I was like, this is more of a mental thing. When I drink it, I'm like, I'm going to have energy today. And he's like, bro, you're an idiot. It doesn't work that way. And I'm like, no way. He's like, dude, you have to have it every day. So when you need to pull from it, if you haven't taken it, then you have nothing. You can't pull from it.
Yeah, exactly. So dude, it's 100%, like everything you just said. And at the end of the day, for me, like I have a very similar schedule. I wake up between 4.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
This is the flavored one.
Yeah, so it dissolves perfectly and tastes great and it's naturally flavored. But I wake up between 4 and 4:30 every morning. I don't go to bed till between 10 and 11, so I'm sleeping 5 to 6 hours on a good night, and I'm doing that every single day. Sunday I sleep until 7, but it's like Monday through Saturday, and pretty much still the same on Sunday. And we usually have date night Saturday night, so that's why I give myself a little bit more. But it's like people always message me like, "Dude, how are you not sleeping? Like, how are you doing that?" It's like I don't take Adderall, I don't take testosterone, I don't take anything. Yeah. But I take a shit ton of creatine. Sorry to swear, but like I take a ton of creatine because it's what provides that energy when you're fatigued, when you're tired. So like I'm going all the way to the end of the day, like play with my kids and play some basketball, and like do all those things. And I like truthfully, even owning the creatine company, there's times in my life where I haven't been super consistent, and when I'm not, I feel that energy depletion. And then I'm like, oh, I just need to be more consistent. So I always tell people when they say like, hey, like how do you do that? I'm like, I could never do that. I'm like, oh, you just need to take more creatine. And you would.
So going from the personal development to the family side of things. Yeah. So I realized like I'm going, roofing, especially in the summertime. We're up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, going crazy. And I would come home at 5 o'clock, and my wife, I don't know how many kids I had at the time, at least 2 or 3. And I'd get home, roll around 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I would be on fumes. Yeah. And she was, awesome. And her and I, we butted heads for years, plural. Yeah. Because she's like, you go out there, you slay all day, you kick butt all day.
Yeah,
and
we get your leftovers.
And she calls them sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
Or leftovers.
Yeah. And
I'm like, damn. I was like, but wait, aren't I doing it for them?
Yeah.
So I believe part of that is mental. Like that very freaking clear that no matter what, you can pull. Because it's like, hey, you want to get laid? Then all of a sudden you have energy, right? Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But so I think it's a mental and a physical part. But if you can take something instead of pounding a monster at 6 o'clock at night to get you through till 10 before you crash, what can you do that's like I said, organic, it's healthy, it's proven, and like I said, I was just because I had 3% body fat when I played baseball EA.
Yeah.
3% body fat, 6-pack, chiseled, running a 4.40. Like money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. But I didn't have kids. I didn't have a job. Didn't have a wife, right? And I had nothing else to do but work out all day, right? And go to a couple classes. Yeah. So creatine's really helped me personally. I've dropped like 5% body fat in the last 6 months.
Amazing.
Since Halloween. Yeah, so since Halloween. I've lost 7 pounds, but I'm gaining so much muscle that I'm like I'm just shifting. So it's not just for athletes.
No,
like I really want to hone in on that. Yeah. Like anybody can take it. Where can they get it, by the way? Because it's everywhere. Going to like Fry's, Walmart, not yours, but like not yet. I have a contact for Fry's, by the way, if you want to entertain that. But creatine's everywhere. You can get on Amazon. How can they get gains? One, we want to everybody watching and listening wants to support local. Your office is literally you could have walked.
Yeah, it's probably half a mile.
Yeah, it's literally it's like a mile away from our office here in Mesa. What's the best way to get their hands on this and the other products that you offer?
For sure. I mean, gainsinbulk.com right now, or if you just search instantized creatine, we're the only one in the world that has it. Like we created it, like it's ours. So if you search instantized creatine, the whole thing. So like you'll find us. We're also on Amazon, but like, they take their 20% or whatever. So we have a good deal. So, if you go to go.gainsinbulk.com as well, that's like our welcome offer. We have like, you get like the shaker bottle and like the free gifts and a discount and stuff. So that's the best place to get it. Like, but look, like we actually have the best creatine, and you can read our reviews and all of that. But I'm such a big fan of creatine. We just wrote an entire book called The Creatine Code that even if you're listening to it and you don't want to order mine for whatever reason, like I would just challenge everyone, like go buy some creatine, take it every day for 30 days, but just don't miss a day. Like just take it every day for 30 days and watch what happens. And once you've experienced it, just like don't stop. Like be a supporter of creatine, because I believe like the world actually like could use it. Like I think our world is just like burned out and tired and using a ton of quick fixes and caffeine and a bunch of other things. And like I'm a fan of caffeine,
drugs,
but caffeine steals energy from the body. Adderall and drugs steal energy from the body. And so you're more depleted tomorrow, and then you're more depleted the next day, and you're more depleted the next day. This is filling you up with energy.
That's what I was going to ask you is what does the crash? Could talk about energy drinks. Like they're great. They'll give you a high for a minute or a few hours or whatever. And then like it takes you less to where you were before 100%. That.
Yeah, so creatine is like literally the exact opposite. So I mean, it's like eating quality food, right? It's a nutrient, amino acids essentially that are going to give your body the substance it needs to produce energy. So it's not going in like caffeine's like a drug essentially that's just telling your body go produce energy. It's in the brain. Same thing with nicotine and like like there's tons of great research about those things producing energy or like helping your body go produce energy. But creatine is like, you could take the caffeine, and then the creatine is actually the thing the body can utilize, especially when it's fatigued, to have energy there. So it's not robbing it from tomorrow. So you'll have more energy, and like you can take it forever. Like there's 10-year studies that it's like completely safe for your kidneys and it's like just so safe, like across the board, ages and genders and all of those things.
Realistically, at what age would it be? I don't say safe, but recommended. I mean, I have a 10-year-old. I also have a 3-year-old. I probably should have a 3-year-old creatine. But like, at what age is it recommended, or is it based off of like their energy levels and their like what they're doing on a daily basis, or what does that look like?
There's actually quite a bit of like newer research for like really young kids, and like the research is solid. Because I'm not technically a doctor, I can't give straight recommendations. So if they're below 18, ask your doctor. But like, typically with people that I know and that I like work with and their kids becoming an athlete, I'll usually say like around 12, because up until then, they're probably not like needing it. And they might not even notice a huge difference. Like who needs their kid to have even more energy?
Yeah, what 15-year-old doesn't have energy?
Yeah, exactly. Right? But if they're starting to train and like go to practices and be there for long times, and like maybe they have a hard time eating as well, like they're going to need some of that extra additional boost, and it's going to help them mentally, physically, the whole thing. Good. So that's kind of about when I would say.
I've never asked that question. Other question. I was going to say, by the way, guys, it's cheap. I hate the word cheap. It's not cheap. It's very affordable, because I think it's cheap isn't like shit products. Right?
Yeah,
like
ours is actually probably like more expensive than what you might find out there, because we have a huge like post-production process to make sure it's pure and that it's instantized and all of that. But it's less than like $30 a month. And if you buy 90 servings, like you're committed to long term, it's like super cheap. It's like $20
So it's like $1 a day?
Yeah,
is that fair?
$1 or less than $1 a day.
Dude, $1 a day, $30. Like there's no prescription or subscriptions anymore. That's $30 anymore. Phones are over $100. Satellite TV dish is all over over $100. Like but for literally for $1 a day, the energy that you can get 30, shots of energy, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
For $30. Like it's a no-brainer. I have the stuff all over my house. My wife gets pissed because I don't put it up. I put it on the side because I use it every single day.
Put it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I put it over here, and you just rolled out pre-workout.
Yeah,
that's right there too, and you have other stuff. And anyways, so I wanted to bring this is just shameless plug. Like I said, this was not the reason for the podcast at all, but I believe in it so much. This isn't like, Braven's gonna give me free stuff. Like, dude, it's nothing to do with that. I literally still pay for it. Like,
I forced the ad. I brought it and put it on the counter.
Yeah, he did give me a shirt. Yeah, he gave me a shirt that I wore working out once, and I tagged him. Like, whatever.
Yeah, no, thank you.
But the point of it being is the personal development side, right? And like getting coaching mentors like you've done. And I'm telling people, like, dude, somebody said the other day, there's no shortcuts in business. I'm like, you are so freaking wrong. Or maybe your mindset or the perception of shortcuts is off. I'm like, dude, this is a shortcut.
Yeah, have more energy.
Yes.
You're going to move faster than your competitors.
Yeah, I was talking to Tommy Mello 2 days ago. Al Levy, his mentor, is like, that dude was a freaking shortcut for commas and zeros for him to become a billionaire.
Okay, so like just one example of a shortcut. It's like when we first started trying to figure out how to run ads. I didn't know what a pixel was. If you don't run Facebook ads, you probably don't know what a pixel is either. It's the thing that sits on your site that tracks the data of the customer who came and then sends it back to Facebook, so you know that you can retarget them. And like that's why when you get on a site and all of a sudden you're like, you think that like the phone's listening to you, but you probably looked at one thing, and then now the algorithm knows because there was a pixel that tracked you and sends you like now everywhere you go, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Hulu TV. Now I can put my ad in front of you. We didn't even know what a pixel was. And so we're running ads, nothing's working, and then we find out what a pixel is. But then we didn't know how to put it on the site. Then we figure out how to put it on the landing page, but we didn't realize you had to put it on the checkout page too, because it has to go to landing page and then it has to track this person bought. So stop showing them your ads because we were wasting a bunch of money showing people who already bought all the same ads. So it's like,
buy our stuff. It's like, I just did.
This was like a 3-month
This is like
process.
ads 505, by the way. Some of you guys are gonna like, this is a fire
sorry.
hose.
No, I'm not, and I'm not
Braven's
sharing
going
it
off
to,
on what, but pay attention. This is how powerful it is.
Yeah, I'm not saying like you don't need to know all that stuff about ads. My point being is that took me and my business partner full focus of us trying to figure out ads for 3 months, and it still wasn't working. And we hired one mentor, the first ever one-on-one mentor that we ever hired. Week 1, he's like, dude, you don't have a freaking pixel set up. Right. And 2, like your pricing's off, and like, let's just shift this. We went from $30,000 a month to a $120,000 week in our, like the next week coaching, because we were doing all this stuff trying to figure it out ourselves. And was it a shortcut? Like we didn't shortcut as in do the wrong things or like cheat the system, but we did have a shortcut because we had someone who knew how to do the thing that was taking us months and months and months to like figure out and tweak, and we got to do that, and this and that and this and that. And he's like, it's got to be on this button, and like all this stuff that doesn't matter to everyone that's listening, because you go buy a media buyer if you're going to run ads. But we didn't know that. Like we didn't have that shortcut. So it's like, that's one example of like mentors making a huge difference. And sometimes you don't even know the thing you don't know. And someone's able to come in and be like, dude, you just need to like send this email to the people that the leads that you get, and you're going to make an extra 50 grand a month or whatever the thing is. Right. And so, dude, there's totally shortcuts. And I think people who have been where you want to go is the number one. Yeah. Like it's like the best shortcut you could possibly get. And what I always tell people is like, let's say the coach sucks. Right, because that's everyone's fear. What if he takes advantage of me and he doesn't know what he's doing or whatever, takes my money? I'm like, okay, so what? Like, what's the outcome? Okay, you're pretty much back where you're at right now. But the thing I'm after when I'm looking at coaching isn't the transaction of like, hopefully I pay him 10 and he gives me 20. I'm looking for transformation. I'm looking for, I'm going to give this guy 10 for myself to be all in focused on this thing. Or I'm going to give this guy 50. Or this year I paid a one-on-one coach $100 grand upfront for coaching. And it was like, I'm looking for transformation. He could not show up to the calls, the weekly calls I have him, and I'm going to transform this year because I put $100 grand in, and I'm committed to do it. So I become the best student, and then I get transformation. But so many people pay the money and then say, I'm going to figure out how to make sure that this guy's a scam and I get as little out of it so that I can get a refund on it. It's like, dude, figure out how to get the most out of it. And even if the guy sucks, figure out how to go network with someone and find a deal and make it happen. And that's what happens when you get into coaching and masterminds.
It's funny you said that.
And I don't sell coaching, by the way. So I'm not pitching myself. I'm pitching change your life.
Right. Well, it's interesting you say that, because when you invest and you paid that $100 grand, that 50 grand, that 5 grand, that 10 grand, whatever it is, you think that you're investing in that coach. You're actually investing in yourself. And the coach is just giving you the tools in order to implement.
Yeah, 100%.
By the way, one of my favorite acronyms, FTI, failure to implement. The number one reason why people that say this coach sucks, the big ones, the little ones, the medium ones, it don't matter, is because either you're not coachable and or you do not implement.
Yep.
So if you're not coachable, it means you have an ego. It means you don't want to learn. You don't want to grow. You think you know everything.
Or you think you're a special snowflake. You think that doesn't apply to me.
You're a unicorn. We'll call them unicorns. Like,
dude,
you're not a unicorn. You're not, I promise. And number 2 is you literally just don't do what he or she tells you to do.
Yep.
It's too scary. Scarcity mindset is most of it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But just scared to go do it because you've never done it. It's like, dude, I know when you turn left, you think that there's going to be a lion there. Like, dude, it's not a lion. It's a golden doodle, and he's really nice. But you see this shadow of and so that's kind of my thing. So. Going back to your case study, one of my guys that I coach named Kyle owns a moving company. It's in my book, 8 Phases to 8 Figures. Shameless plug. It's on Amazon.
Let's go, buy the book.
He had never done social media ever. And so Nick and I have this thing called the 30 days of posting. So he post one video every day for 30 days.
Yeah.
You can throw a couple stories in there, go for it. But these guys that have like don't have any traction on
Nothing.
social media
Never
whatsoever.
filmed a video. Probably.
Nothing. Yeah. Terrified of like pressing the red button is like, oh my gosh, like this is where I die.
Yeah.
You know, end my life here. Click that button. And he did it for 30 days, and he put an additional $50,000 in his bank account.
Yeah.
And here's one freaking month.
Here's the thing. Are you a genius coach for telling him to post 30 times in 30 days? Like, not to be disrespectful, like, but like,
No.
it's not like that's my point of the investment. If you're invested in transformation, it's like, dude, like you could have done the 30 days without hiring you. The reality is 99.999% of people just won't. Like you won't do the 30-day thing when you don't have a coach that says, do it. I'm going to follow up with you. Like, I know that you're coming back to the next event in 60 days or 90 days. And like, I'm going to ask you how it went. And you're going to have to like, be like, I'm a little like B and I didn't do it. Or here's what happened,
spot.
right? I'm going to be in the same spot. So dude, it's like, I'm going to invest in transformation. I'm going to invest in myself, not in Jason or whoever else.
Yeah. So as I talk with my mentors and my coaches about like doing events and growing my coaching company and whatnot, they said, especially with events, they said only 3% of the people in the room, no matter how big the room is, only 3% will take action on what you say.
Yeah, that's sad.
3 freaking %.
That's why it's so freaking easy, dude. That's why it's so easy. And
even the ones that sign up, by the way,
these are people that paid the money. Yeah,
because once again, because I've been doing it for almost 3 years now, and I see these dudes like one of my buddies, shameless plug to Nate from Lug Ranch Heroes, right? He had 2 vans when I met him 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago, and he does like high end stuff like Porsches, Lambos, all the way to semi trucks and everything in between. He's actually doing my golf cart like next week for two of the tires. But went from 2 vans to 10 vans. I'm like, dude, the dude is coachable. He implements. He shows up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it's so freaking good. Okay. Last question. When it comes to like sexy business status, what advice would you give the guys that are on the come up, for lack of better words, to grow and scale their business? What nugget would you give them to grow and scale their business, 10x their business, and take it from where it is, or like the guy they worked for, it was that size, or my dad or mom, it was that size, or the industry is that size, and you're like, bird and go. What advice would you give them?
My favorite thing is acquisitions. Not acquisitions of other companies, acquisitions of customers. Like customer acquisition to me is...
What does that mean?
So it means getting new customers, getting new people in the door, finding someone who's never heard about you, and then turning them into someone who's heard about you, who then knows about you, and then buys from you. And
like me, because I didn't know you, 6 months ago?
100%. Like you. Like the guys that I've come and like try and pitched our products to, the people on this episode, hopefully I'll acquire some customers here. It's why I'm like part of the reason I'm here, and because we're friends, but it's like, I'm always trying to acquire customers because the customer is the value of the business. Look, Instagram sold for billions of dollars to Facebook. Do you think Facebook, one of the best tech companies in the world, could not have built Instagram's software in matter of months, if not matter of weeks? And they bought them for billions of dollars. Why? Because the customers are the value. Same thing. I believe it was Microsoft that bought eBay. Bought them for over $1 billion. Like this is way back. Why? eBay was like this crappy platform at the time. It's still a crappy software platform. Like some 14-year-old kid could rip off and build eBay from a software tech perspective. But eBay had the customers. So to me, the most valuable thing in all of business is the customer, right? And we always say the customer's always right and all that stuff. But if you don't have any customers, your customers ain't right. Your customers are wrong. They're buying from someone else.
Right.
So you got to go get the customer. And so here's the reason most businesses never get past $1 million. And if they get to $1 million, it's still the reason they don't get to 10. And it's, to me, I believe it's the reason I'm not at 50 yet, because I haven't figured out how to do it at 50, right? Or 100 million yet. And so you don't have a clear system to acquire new customers. If I ask you, how do you acquire customers right now? And you're like, well, like we get some referrals and we do some lead stuff and like we kind of do this. Like, I'm like, yeah, your business is probably under 5 million for sure. If I say, how do you acquire customers? And you're like, oh, okay, let me tell you, like we have like this ad funnel that's crushing. And
you can't rapid fire,
and we do this and we do this and we do this. And like typically you should really have one that's really strong. Like we crush Facebook ads, right? It's like, or we crush this thing. If you don't have that in your business, everything you're doing that's not that is losing you money. Like if you will put all of your energy into figure out that one thing, how do I acquire customers? It might be through Facebook ads. It might be through going and doing radio ads. It might be through doing joint ventures with other businesses or going on a podcast tour. I'm like, I don't care what the thing is. It might be from DMing people on Instagram. whatever your system is like, hey, I know that if we spend $50 on this, or I send 100 messages, or I do this thing, or I put out 5,000 flyers, or I like whatever the thing is for you, I know if I do that, then I get this many leads, and then we call those leads and we get this many customers. And then you just start tracking that, track the funnel of those people, and then just start putting more flyers out and better flyers, and then call more of the leads and call them with better salespeople, and then close them more. And it's like, that's the
Have them buy
whole
more.
game. That's it. Like,
I think
it's
of like
that
Lewis
simple.
Howes with LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right. Like the LinkedIn, he's LinkedIn God. Like that's that was his claim to fame. Right. I remember his book and his story. Right. And I think he was on his sister's couch and like, got into it and it's like, all let's do is LinkedIn thing.
Yeah.
And then like became the juggernaut of it that launched him to one of the best and biggest podcasts on planet Earth.
Yes.
Right?
He figured out
Russell
his
Brunson, funnels.
acquisition strategy. Yes.
Nobody knew what funnels were. And he's like, I'm going to make funnels. I'm going to teach everybody how to do them, and I'm going to show you how to do them and make it look cool and fun.
Yeah.
Like,
and also the software on the back end to build them.
yes. And yeah, it's like Alex Hormozy talks about it best. I think that's kind of that nugget that when you were saying that, that's kind of what I heard. Like he spends 4 hours a day promoting his business.
Yeah.
4 freaking hours. Some of us spend like
None.
30 minutes every other day.
Yeah.
And we wonder why. Yeah. So I challenge you guys as a call to action for this episode is write down right now, just set a stopwatch, give yourself 60 seconds and write down as fast as you can how many things you do on a daily basis to generate leads and create new customers or repeat customers in your business. If you can't name 10 and have like 1 or 2 like go-tos, mine was organic Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
I started posting 1 a day in January of 2010. Fast forward 15 years, I have 7,500 posts, and it
works for you.
We print leads every freaking, I get DMs every single day asking about roofs.
And look, so how easy is it to grow a business that looks like that? If posts work, let me just post more times. Let me post better content. The problem is most people don't know what the thing to do is to grow because they don't even know what's causing their growth now. It's all just scattered all over the place. So I'm like, I would just write down, what are you doing? But I would also write down, how many people did you acquire last week or last month? How many new customers did you get? And then look at that number and be like, if I can just figure out how to get 10x that number, everything else, like we'll solve every other problem after that.
Yeah, because we think we got, let's run with that. So if you have the 10 customers, like, oh, there's 10 different ways that I got those 10 different customers. No. You may have gotten 8 from one and 1 from another and 1 from another. So you only have 3.
Yeah.
But like, okay, we'll figure out what that 8 is and just like
Do more of it.
Go ham on that.
Yeah.
And then shameless plug once again to Cam Bodden and Evan Ritchie teaching me about like my referral program.
Yeah.
And reaching back out to my previous customers. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like, do you have an email list of 15,000 people and you only reach out to them once a month and it's a half-ass email? I was like, bro, every fucking day. I'm like, what? He's like, and then anyways, so like we could go off the different, I call them branches of ways of doing that. But like what you said before, I got 10 customers last week. You need to call them and or figure out how you acquired them. That is so powerful.
Yep.
And figure that out, and then go, like I said, the next 10, cool. And then you'll see patterns, right, and consistencies of like, this is working a lot, this is not working a lot. For roofing, 20% of my revenue is real estate. 20 freaking %. 1 out of every $5 comes from a real estate transaction. It could be the mortgage guy, the title guy, the home warranty guy, the realtor, the buyer or the seller of that real estate transaction, the home inspector. Like, there's like 6 different things, but from those. It is because somebody bought or sold a home, and when you're doing $10 million a year, that means $12 million a year. That means over $2 freaking million, almost $200,000 a month, $50,000 a week, $5,000 a day.
Just from that.
Oh yeah, we should definitely like keep going with that.
How do we go get more realtors? Or how do we get the more real estate people?
Well, because then I hear people like, real estate sucks and they're cheap and they don't want to do this and do that. And I'm like, 20% of my revenue, I was like, I'm going to go do that.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, go find another thing.
Yeah. So yeah, find your way and then just triple down on acquiring customers. If you don't know how to acquire customers, you're dead.
Yeah.
You don't have a business, to be honest. You're like a freelance service guy, like running around like doing plumbing for people.
Yeah.
Like you're not actually a business until you know how to acquire customers.
And we're not going to get into this because there should be a whole different podcast for a different day that we'll do. But like being a high paid employee versus being a business owner.
Yeah.
It's like you do that kind of stuff. It's like, no, you're just like I said, it's almost like a side job or a hobby. It's like you need to you really need to figure out what you want.
You're for sure a prisoner of that business if you don't know how to acquire customers.
All right,
you can't
guys,
go to Hawaii and make money.
Braven, Grant, owner of Gains. Like I said, lives here in Mesa. Is it
Gainsandbulk.com. Yeah, you can go to the normal site, but like, yeah, if you go to go.gainsandbulk.com, that's where the offer is.
Throw you a couple extra fun stuff like this that I have in my house. So, Braven, thanks for coming on, dude. Like I said, 27 years old. I'm excited I've owned my business for 5 years, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like,
yeah, what happens in decades?
Yeah, I was like, well, what about in 5 more years? I'm like, whoa. I'm like, it is really exciting when you start having those conversations. So I'm excited, like I said, once a year, just seeing you go and go and go and go and go. And because a lot of people talk, but it's fun to see watch people do as well too. And you're one of those guys. So
thank you.
Easiest way to follow you on social media.
Yeah, Braven Grant.
Braven
Instagram
Grant.
everywhere. Yeah.
There you go.
Braven Grant.
Instagram. And cool. Thanks for being on. If you like this, like I said, share it with a friend, a family member, a buddy that's struggling, whether it's to get in shape, whether it's to get your shit together personally, your marriage, your relationships, your finances, whatever the case may be. Share this episode. We don't charge anything. There's no ads, right? I didn't pay Braven. Braven didn't pay me. This is just raw, organic entrepreneurs kicking ass, taking names, and taking your business, your family, and your income to the next level. See you in the next one.
Boom.